Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alvin here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you clicked on this, me and my wife got laid off. For context, wife, she's working in a full-time job. I am working in part-time work and I'm doing some side incomes. When I say laid off, it's little bit different for the both of us, but basically the gist of it is we had no work. Let's maybe talk about my wife's side and why it's been happening these few months. I've not been uploading, yada yada yada. Basically, my wife, her full-time work, she roughly knew that she would be laid off. You can feel it. In the last time that I talked about being laid off, on my wife's side, I did touch upon that in her workspace, she had her colleagues that were suddenly laid off. Sudden layoffs are a thing right now, folks. It's happening and it will happen towards to 2026. That's a given. There's no you don't even have to worry about it because it's going to happen. Whether it happens to you or not, I will be honest, you won't know, but you can feel it, I guess. For her, her predicament is a little bit different because it was a merger. Two companies merged. Not really merged. I think it was one company taking over the other company, and then she was on the smaller company, and she roughly knew that her time will come. She will get laid off. That's a given. As with all takeovers, so to speak. And she knew that she will not have any work at all. So there lies the issue. She have this inkling that she will not have any work in God knows when. And in my last videos that I talking about layoffs, in her workspace, sudden layoffs are a thing. She had colleagues that were suddenly laid off. The whole department was closed. It was shut down. So basically, there was no work. So for her end, she knew her time will come. Just that don't know when. So we had a discussion talking about whether she should go and find work even before getting laid off. That's what we were discussing. But that didn't come to realization because the company that took over her company piled a lot of work on her. And you would think that all will be fine because she had so much work to do. Somehow or other, she still got laid off, right? So there lies one thing, folks. It does not mean that you have work that you will not be, having a job later on. It's not far-fetched. It's not set in stone. It doesn't mean that you have so much work to do that you will not get laid off. That's not true at all. My wife, she was given so much work and yet she was asked to go. And for that, prior to that, we were talking about whether she would go and find work when she had a job, and then she couldn't because of the work that she had. Then we had this talk about whether she should quit and then find work because the stress on her was pretty much affecting both of us. You can tell that it's affecting someone, and if you love someone, it will affect you irregardless of whether you want to deny it or not. It's a given. This topsy-turvy of a feeling that we had. And then I've been coming to my own part of the equation, but on her end, she basically was doing so much work, not knowing whether she has any job security, not knowing whether she will have any job later on. It's this job landscape right now. You have no idea. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would urge you, much as you are passionate in your work, some of you do swear by your work and everything, nothing is set in stone. you probably need to be prepared that the company will just end things as it is and then be done with you. And it's not your own fault. Nothing to do with you. It's just the way companies are run. So coming back to my wife, she we had this talk that whether she want to quit her job and then leave, and then find work. Then I told her, then what about a severance pay? And if you are let go, there will be a severance package. That's a fact. Especially for the bigger companies, the MNCs and everything. And she is working in an MNC. So there lies the issue. Whether she's to stick around until the very end and then look for a job. So yeah, she figured that it's better to just stick around because there was work to do anyway. Once she got laid off, she had this, feeling of going to overseas. So we actually spent money going to Japan. We had a good time. She was happy, being, I don't know how to put it to you. She was quite happy being laid off. She had she was free, she was, she didn't have anything holding her back. So she went overseas, both me and my wife, we booked flights to Japan. We visited a few places, and yeah, she wanted to visit this train. There was an event thingy with her anime that she loves, yada yada yada. But anyway, I digress. That's where the issue of my end comes into play, because while she does not have any work, on my end comes another problem. Is my part-time work was still around. My part-time work was still around, and yet eBay was doing well until a certain point. If you are with me, even in my older videos, I did talk about eBay, eBay reselling and everything as an international reseller. And with good old US President Donald Trump elimination of the de minimis rule for US, things were not happening, and for us to sell to US. So to ship to US is very painfully expensive because of tariffs. So that's where I had to slow down or even stop eBay for a while. And that's where bulk of my, so-called income, my side income, was eliminated overnight. It was gradually coming down. We knew the date set, but at that point of the date, total shutdown. We couldn't send anything to US. And then I had a few trickle of, parcels to other international destinations, Europe, Australia, Canada. But you cannot deny that when you sell on eBay, US market is the biggest. It accounts for like 80 to 90% of my so-called revenue selling on eBay. And that stopped. Then, of course, as the months coming, she was at home, I was at home. Then you could feel the tension and everything. But we were still doing our own things, we were still doing our own things. She was into baking. I was still, trying to figure my other parts of my side income and everything. And yeah, depression, I don't know whether to call it depression. I'll be frank with you. I don't think so, but there's this anxiety that came upon us that it is we both don't have work. But luckily, like I mentioned in my past videos, how we are okay financially. Financially, we are okay. Just the mental space of whether there will be work in the future. For her, with her, contacts and everything, she managed to find work. That's good for her. I'm happy for her. I'm always, supporting her, whatever she does and everything. And for me, selling to US take some time for eBay, because eBay, prior to the minimis ruling that's going to be X, and the tariff is going to be starting and everything, then shipping is going to be freaking expensive to US. It daunted on me that my best month was prior to that. I did so much sales prior to that, and then it all stopped. It's like having a job and then you don't have it anymore. That's how I term my layoff, my work that is non-existent. So to that point, taking a while for US, and then on top of that, Canada Post just stopped receiving posts from all over the world, and even locally, their own domestic, because of their Canada Post strike. The workers are having a strike, and yeah, it did hamper that I can't sell anything to Canada for a small period of time. So that's where I basically I'll most probably do a video talking about eBay, but basically I've stopped eBay there and then. Whether I'm going to continue putting effort into eBay, I will see how, because right now Canada Post has since restarted. It's still okay to send to Canada. US also has since restarted their services. USPS and Canada Post has since restarted it. And you can send parcels to US and Canada and basically everywhere with a fee, of course. So that fee, I'm still waiting on it. I'm not sure when it's going to be invoiced to me. So the tariff fee, I have no idea how much is it. Don't even need to ask me about it. I'm still waiting on the fees on it, and then I'll do an in-depth talk about it. But yeah, short and short, both me and my wife, we are doing fine. But for that few months, since April to I think about close to November, October, November, it was a ride. It was a lot of feelings, and I'm glad that we have both of us together to support each other, and we don't have anyone else other than our parents to worry about. So that's where the feeling of having this mental space to actually breathe, to actually feel, and actually realize that shit can happen, and it can happen to anyone, and you best believe that you need to prepare for it. Even though you know that that thing will happen, it still sucks that it can happen. But yeah, that's the gist of it. So going forward in 2026, what about the job landscape? I'd be honest with you, it does not look good. There is already in Channel News Asia's point of view, our so-called local news that reports on Singapore, they've already preempted with a lot of propaganda, telling you folks that are still looking for a job that a lot of the young ones have since pivoted to do other work while still trying to find their main job. Like, there's this guy, there's a barber in his house. There's this guy that sends so many resumes, and then he basically a TikTok seller right now. And there's this lady that's sticking car stickers for a living. And then among other videos that they put out. And then of late, they are also talking about whether the institutional level, the organizations should help more with the youths of today who are looking for jobs, whether they can find work or not. It's not getting better, folks. It is not. I'll be very frank with you. The reality is, with this so-called transition to this AI landscape of things, I have no idea what work can be done in 2026 and beyond. Manual work, work that the businesses that are still existing, if you can find work there, and if you are okay with doing it, go forth and do it. It's work. It's something that you may find joy in it. I'll be very frank with you, I won't go back to corporate work anymore. My wife still loves to do corporate work, and we find a balance between ourselves, and it's a given. You basically need to realize what you're good at, what you're bad at, and just go forth and do it. Work is work. It's and if it needs to pay the bills, so be it. But be mindful. I don't know how to put it to you, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, there are quite a number of you, I think, that are punching above your weight. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that to have. But if you are in debt doing it and you have no job, because of these layoffs, this job firing and everything, and you are in debt, consumer debt, whether you need to pay for your car, whether pay for your landed property or whatever. I don't know how to put it to you. You better go and realize it sooner rather than later, because it will be bad going forward. I don't have a remedy for you. You better remedy it before it happens. That's my suggestion back to you. Anyway, this is just a recording of me, documenting the past few months, what happened, and ladies and gentlemen, I do see my own videos, just to reflect back on life and then what I've done on that juncture, and then just go forth and then move on with my life and do better, I guess. Anyway, this will be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, everyone. I'll see you around. Bye bye.